Hello everybody, in this video I will demo how the P workflow, random forest P workflow that I developed last summer as one of my tasks works in data view. The main problem that maybe also you met is about we can say file registration or Dropbox registration, or we can say Dropbox file read and write. So we plan to come up with two more P workflow for Dropbox reader and Dropbox writer, and hopefully through that we can go one step ahead. And I think your main problem also is about that, because also I have met this problem again and again. But let me see how I can work on it, and then talk about the random forest P workflow. So if you go to the code, data view project, as you might know, in building we have a rf.java, random forest.java, and once you open it, so it's get two input file. Let me also show you the workflow. I designed the workflow. On my local machine. Okay, the random forest, there are three inputs, as you may know: train dataset, test dataset, and one number. And there is one just output. So the number is number of 3, and 2 file as train dataset, test dataset. So these are all working on the input port. Here is checking if it is from Dropbox or not, which is, I think, the main problem now. And if it is from Dropbox, it's try to read it. If not, just intermediate data, just define the file data product. The same for the second port, checking if it is Dropbox or not. And also for the third input file is the number of 3 as an integer, to check it if it is Dropbox or not. If it is not Dropbox, should be also integer. The third input file, which is a number of 3s. Then it's coming into the main execution, prepare the data, input data, and then these are the main function calls. So it calls rf with the train dataset, test dataset, an integer, and put the output in output file. Then once we have the output file, we need to write it into Dropbox. So over here, get the information and then write it into like a Dropbox. Or if it is not Dropbox, just create an regular output for the workflow. And here we just check it to become sure if there is like a 3 input ports. Okay, so these are the main like a functionality. Let's take a look of it. So this is just a building workflow. As you know, this function RF implementer, it is in a package called data mining package. Once you open it on rf.java, here you can see the main functionality: class RF and that function RF implementer. So class RF and attribute like a method RF implementer. So it's run all the work. You can take a look, and if you want, you can also change it. For example, the output data, I just make it like this one in this format. But if you just need the number, you can remove this extra test. You can just write the I, which is the value, real value. And one thing in the first time, if you want to run it, just test it. For example, there is a main function there. You can just run it this one as a Java application to become sure that this functionality is working. And so I have a benchmark from the Weka. So I tested with the weather, which I'm showing now how is the data with the headers and so on. So I have 3 input: training data set, test data set, and output, which is I saved in output.txt, and then a number of trees as an integer. Then I call the function to become sure it's working correctly or not, just as a Java application. So as you can see in my desktop, I need to have a data and then go to the folder weather. Let me show you. This is my desktop data. This is for iris, advertisement as benchmark, and weather. So once I open it, so I created as a txt, so text document. The output is just generated automatically to show the output. For example, I can delete it now, or you can have it, you just rewrite it. So the weather data as a training data set is like that. You need to have these headers. You can just get it from Weka, the benchmark, define the attributes. So it can be 3 classes: sunny, overcast, or rainy classification. And also temperature is real, humidity is real. So this is the first one. First attribute is sunny, overcast, and rain. And then temperature 85 is the temperature real. Then humidity, the third one. And then the windy is going to be false and true. And also play, yes or no. So the classification is yes or no. We can play or not. So is it also txt? And for the test, I just create 2 of them with the same header and header information and the data. I just have these 2 tests, 2 record for test. So I just want to see if I give you this information, should be yes or not for play, to predict yes or no. Okay, so before running a work or whatever, I just go and then run this rf.java. So please have the dataset ready, weather, test. This output can be any name, is generated automatically, and the number of trees, I make it 100. So just running this one to become sure the functionality for random forest is working. So run, you can right click on it, run as Java application. So as you can is run, you said there is 2 records there, and the instance classification, there are 2 items, yeah, for test data set. So it show it like this. So let's take a look back. As you can see, it just generated the output, and it's mentioned data item 0, the first item belong to class 0, data item 1 belong to class 1. So if you open the test, we have two of them, yeah. So one item 0, this is item 1. So for this one is 0, probably is yes, and the other one is 1, probably is like a no. So at least we know the functionality is working correctly. And as I mentioned, maybe you need this data in any format. Here I make it like this format, a string, like data item I belong to class. This is a class. So please update this RF Java based on the whatever input you want to get it from here. Maybe you just want to get it like this, yeah, just the classification, yes, no, and so on. So then you need to remove this one from your rf.java. You can remove data item, all of these you can remove it, and you can just like this, remove it. I can just the class. Then you make a toString, you know. Let's see if it has a toString. Okay, we need to convert it to a string. So is a double, right? This is a double, this is a number. If you but the content is a string, so you need to make it a double to a string. So if I'm correct, it is like a functionality double dot to a string, then argument. Okay, so just converted the double, which is a 0 or 1 classification, to the string, the content. So if you did you make this change, you will see the result as output like this: 0 1 0 1 and so on. Okay, let me don't save here. Also here I just want to make it return the change, undo the changes. And okay, so we figure out that the function is working. Now let's take a look at the workflow. So I create this workflow: random forest, weather txt, and test txt, and 10. I put it here as 10, not 100. So this is my Dropbox. I just copy paste and the weather folder with 2 information, yeah. I'll show you the test txt for the test dataset and the weather txt for the training dataset. And I got the 10 from here, so from my Dropbox, and connect it and to run it, and then I create the MATRF01. So I created an executable workflow and I save it and I can run it. So let me also give one more hint. Let me first run it. I can run it. I just run it on the local machine now. Submit. So it's run, and as you can see here, no problem. And one is clear in the value, and open it. Here it shows it because I already run it, is not rewrite it, so it just duplicate the result there. So but it is generated correctly. And if you go to your Dropbox, you can see the result. Okay, so now the output is just appending the result, is not rewriting, but you can fix it. I think here, once this function, you can have other option to make it, to become sure is once it's write it to the content. I just want to make it rewrite, but that's the easy fix. So it's running here, and then you can see the result also either from here, or you can get it from the output folder on your Dropbox. So you can check it there. Like this, random forest, and so on. Okay, so this is the workflow running. one more thing is that if you want to check it through the data view, if you go to Venbench utility, you can go to Venbench utility.java and then open it, then go to the at the end of the file, and there is a main function there, right? You can run your workflow locally there and test it locally there. First of all, just fix the prefix. This prefix address to your workspace and the web content. Okay, so your web content, the web content here, you can find it, is addressed to the web content. Then automatically it will go system files and config XML. So just become sure you also manually in system file config XML, you need to manually change it to your database, database name and the username and the password, manually change it. So once you have this one, you can, there is a string username, put your username, for me it's bc0275ven.edu, and then put your workflow name, which is this name, Mahdi_RF01. So add it there, and then for the workflow run ID, I just put 1. So you can put an arbitrary number. Then this run workflow, run it locally. So let me run this one also again. So I want to run it locally. Clean my console, run it here. Run as a Java application, not on the server. Java application is running, as you can see. Is run, and then create the output file and this name, so you can check it on your Dropbox, the output. But the good thing of this one is locally, so you can, if you want, you can trace it and then see what is the error. So this is the run workflow, is the main function. You can right click on it, go to open the declaration to find it, what is the run workflow, what is it getting, and then go step by step. So experiment run and so on. Okay, this is one more thing. If you want to test your workflow locally, use a Venbench utility. Venbench in Venbench package, Venbench utility, go to the main function and then change the information, insert your information, and then run it as a Java application. This is one thing. I think the main thing is that you may have a problem. Just check your database for your data view and then go to the DP specs. So the main problem sometimes is not created data product, is read it from Dropbox, not write it into your database. So you need to become sure that you have the 3 records for your 3 input data product. One is the test txt, one is the 10, the number of trees, and then the weather txt. So it should be created in your DPL specs. Otherwise, is not going to run successfully the workflow. And the below is something like that. DPL information. It is like that. The name, description. It is a Dropbox type, and the Dropbox path. Data view input file. This is the Dropbox path. So in your case, if you couldn't see it, the system couldn't write it and read it from the Dropbox, for now, if you want to run it, to test it, sometimes you can just create this information maybe manually, insert it manually. For example, you can right click on it, copy a row, and then I'm using a window. This is the console, so this is the workbench, MySQL workbench, like that. Just insert the new row. Update the key, it should be a new key, so it's gonna be the last one 52. I'll make it 53. Then change it here and change the name. For example, you want to make it test 01, the file from your Dropbox, and then go over in blah, it probably is empty now, so you can just get it from wherever you have. For example, from here, just Control A, Control C, copy and paste. Here, just in text, is not in text, paste it here, and then change it based on your information. So this is, I just call it test01. This should be a file in your Dropbox, temporary Dropbox. So here you need to change it to 01. Description is not necessary, but anyway, let's change it. And these are your information, don't change it. And then the Dropbox path is very important, so make it 01, for example, and then apply, and then apply. So as you can see, I just create an insert file for the, like a file from my Dropbox called test01. So for now, maybe you can try something like this. If you have a problem, and if we didn't insert from Dropbox to your database manually, maybe you can do it so far, so we can fix that part. This is just the main point. And okay, so the workflow is running, the logic is correct, and the only thing is I didn't test it on the cloud, this version, but it's easy also to test it. I'm sure it's going to work also in the cloud version. But please work so far till here. Try to make this workflow, become sure that you have the data in this format, TXT, probably make it TXT, and then once you run it, become sure in your Dropbox, in your database, view DP database of the data view, DPL specs, just run it and become sure. Go to the last record. By DPID you can sort it, and then become sure that for the 3 inputs is create the 3 records. If it doesn't create the record, it means it cannot read it, because eventually data view coming here and then read the data, the file, whatever, by using these records from database. If the records are not here, are not inserted here, then you cannot read the input file. So if you cannot see it, maybe just for test you can create them, generate them manually, as I mentioned, and then test it. So I'm hoping this help you. For now, just try it and then let us know, so we can also work on it and probably going for the cloud version. Thank you for watching this video.